All right. So let's get into the funding objectives. A quick overview. Again, if you visited our website, this is available on our website. We are particularly interested in work led by and benefiting women in rural, tribal, and urban Indian communities that align with our objectives. And I want to share a little bit about that first part, which is sort of the particular interest we have in some areas in our state and some particular communities in our state. In 2023, the Women's Foundation adopted a strategic grant making framework, which guides our grant making priorities. And in that framework, we committed to using our grant making to support the economic security of women, with an understanding that women, and to a greater degree, women of color and Indigenous women, trans women, and disabled women, have historically been economically neglected or exploited. And so, because of our desire to be more targeted in our funding, we are looking at how we can direct funds to rural communities that for decades have been underinvested in, and to Indigenous women, again, who have sort of really been targeted by these economic systems in a way that divests and takes resources from their communities. And so that is part of our strategic commitment that we made in 2023 is to really actively pursue partnerships in rural and tribal communities. In addition, and statewide in Montana, we are looking at work that expands women's access to essential resources in healthcare. We are looking to support women in building long-term economic security, and we are looking to strengthen women's participation, leadership, and advocacy. So I want to dig into each one of those and give some examples of kinds of projects and programs that we support underneath each objective. So the first one, expanding women's access to essential resources in healthcare. We're supporting organizations that remove barriers to financial stability and overall well-being by expanding access to safe housing, nutritious food, economic support, and community safety for women and their families, providing education, resources, and advocacy for women's health and healing, including reproductive, maternal, mental health, and gender-affirming care, and advancing policies and increasing public investment in services that help women and promote long-term stability. One example of a grantee that falls under Objective 1 is Montana Budget and Policy Center, who during the last session worked to expand access to the Best Beginning Scholarship Program for childcare in Montana, and to provide reimbursement to providers based on enrollment, which was a strategy to stabilize the childcare sector, which I'm sure all of you know is predominantly run by women. And so thinking about how do we provide more childcare, yes, for families in our community, but also support women by having sort of a sector-specific strategy felt really important to us in increasing public investment in services that help women. So Objective 2 then is supporting women in building long-term economic security. We fund organizations that help women increase their income and build financial security by improving sector wages and working conditions within women-dominated occupations. For example, we support healthy mothers, healthy babies as they provide sort of supportive services to the Montana Doula Collaborative. And that collaborative is working, one, to strengthen their network, but also to find a pathway to insurance reimbursement for their services, again, improving sort of sector-wide wages and stability for occupation that is primarily dominated by women. And then helping women gain new skills to secure better paying jobs with good benefits. Objective 3 then is to strengthen women's participation, leadership, and advocacy. And we invest in organizations that cultivate inclusive leadership for women to lead and drive change by supporting leadership development programs that honor cultural knowledge, lived experience, and community-driven solutions, provide education and training programs tailored to women and girls, and building capacity for women to engage in advocacy and policy change in their communities. All right, so that's an overview of our objectives.